Episode 17, Louisiana Jones in Western Africa. When we left Louisiana, she was a stowaway on a boat filled with oranges following Nigel on the Orange River. Eventually, the boat docked and she saw Nigel get off and ask one of the workers something. When the man answered, Nigel began walking south, singing a song to himself. Finally, Louisiana was also able to get off the boat and ask that same worker for directions so she could keep tracking Nigel. "Excuse me, but what country is south of here?" she asked. "There are no other countries south of here, miss. You're in South Africa. You can't get much more south than that. That's why it's called South Africa." Confused about what Nigel was up to, she asked another question. "What was that man in the monocle singing about?" "Oh, you mean Nigel. Now that's a dandy sort of chap if there ever was one. He's always singing the same weird song when we drop him off here. Zimbity-doo-dah, zimbity-yay. My, oh my, how I love Zimbabwe." So he wasn't headed south at all. He was headed north, to Zimbabwe. Louisiana headed north as well, hoping to find Nigel there. When she arrived in Zimbabwe, she noticed that it looked like a funny-shaped circle, and that wrapped around Zimbabwe was a shop. But not just any shop. This shop was called Moe's Antiques in Mozambique. Louisiana entered Moe's Antiques shop and began looking around. As she rounded a corner, she bumped into Nigel, holding her ivory statue. Unfortunately, he was also holding a gun. "It is most exhausting having you follow me around everywhere, Louisiana. But since you seem so insistent on possessing this statue, you can carry it for me. Now move." Nigel led her to a nearby boat that took them to an island off the eastern coast of Africa. When they landed on the island, they got into a car and began driving until the car began to sputter and the engine died. They had run out of gas. That made Nigel furious. He was so mad about the gas in his car that he shouted, "I hate Madagascar!" So that's where they were, on the island of Madagascar. Abandoning the car, they walked up the road to a nearby airport. There, they boarded an airplane and took off. As they were flying, Louisiana stared out the window, and from high above, she looked down and noticed that the land below her looked like a horse's head. They were flying above Africa and heading north. And way down below, on the horse's ear, was Ethiopia. Seeing Ethiopia, she hoped she would be able to find a way out of this mess. Would she be able to escape Nigel's clutches? Where was their plane headed? You'll have to come back next week to find out.